welcome back to the show. We did Mike Modano Retribution, and we got talking about curling. Last topic was about salary caps. We talked about the restaurant industry. What can we do with this one? Sex and sports. Where I would like to start, okay, you know what? I want to talk about athletes posing.
Where's the video? I thought you had video of all the topics.
What channel do you think this is?
Oh, sorry.
No clips?
Oh,
no, there's no clips.
Oh, jeez. You're
why I came on the show. Never mind.
We'll talk about the posing in a minute. What I would like to talk about is women's tennis. And women's tennis, the popularity for women's tennis is at an all-time high. They've done studies as to why all of a sudden women's tennis is so popular. And the reason? The short skirts,
uniforms,
the good-looking girls.
Yeah. Steffi Graf, gorgeous. She's in all the fashion models Vogue. She totally headlined that.
So we're okay with all this?
I don't know. I don't really care, personally. I don't care if they're fashion models or anything after that.
You're a woman, though.
So? What does that mean? No, I mean, what? We'd rather have the Billie Jeans and the Martina Navratilovas? I mean, they have to be lesbians or they're fashion models? Those are the two options we have in tennis?
But I think what we're saying, though, is proportionately, there aren't as many guys, athletes, doing the same. I mean, Michael Jordan has his Nike.
Oh, no. Forget it. Look at the NFL. Every former NFL player is now a beautiful, gorgeous broadcaster on Fox and CBS, ESPN, TS. Forget that, no.
They're not posing, they're not...
Oh,
sure they are.
No, they're doing underwear, they're doing cologne, they're doing Jeeps, and oh, forget that.
You think it's all even?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
I think women are just getting a slice of the pie because women are now, even though they have different body types, are considered to be as attractive even if they're muscular and they're not these stick fashion models. I think that's what it is.
Who was the baseball pitcher?
Jim Palmer.
Jim Palmer, there you are, right there.
Okay, I'm thinking of how to do that.
And look, female athletes in golf. Stephenson, remember her back? My gosh, this is going back into the late 70s. She did a spread for one of the more liberal...
Katarina Witt.
Katarina Witt.
Yes, exactly.
Nice airbrushing. Oh, bitter.
What I'm saying is,
tastefully
you look
done.
at...
Tastefully done.
You look at...
It's pornography,
there's the NHL, there's the NFL, there's Major League Baseball, there's basketball, there's football. There are a lot more major sports for men than there are for women. But I could open up a magazine here and a magazine there, and I could see just as many male athletes as female athletes doing this sort of stuff. What I'm saying is the pool for women is not as big as it is for the men, but yet there's just as many women doing it. And it seems that women, because of their sex appeal, are able to attract the male audience a lot more than the men.
I think they're attracting both audiences. They're attracting women, and they're attracting male audiences.
And the fact that maybe someone like Katarina Witt is not cheapening her sport by...
She doesn't. She's a professional skater. She's an ice skater. She doesn't have a professional sport anymore.
I love the idea. I think it's a great idea. It sells the sport. It just sells it.
Okay, but I do have a problem.
But is ice skating a sport?
No. Oh, I'm not going there. No. I'm not saying that ice skating is a sport. I'm saying when you're in ice capades or whatever, when you're competing on TV every other freaking week, it's not a sport. But when the female American soccer players, the ones that have posed nude since they won, I think that maybe sends kind of a bad message to young girls. Because I think the young kids can take that hand in hand. When you win the sport, you have to exploit your fame, and you have to be naked to do that if you're a woman in sports.
We're quickly running out of time. I don't want to get into the females in the male locker room thing, but what I would like to talk about is when you see a male interviewed after a hockey game, quite often he has no shirt on.
Or no pants.
Or no, well, you don't see that, but you can tell by the headshot that he has no shirt on.
Sure.
If you were to go and interview Anna Kournikova after a tennis match in the change room or in her dressing room, and she had no shirt on, and you saw from here up, wouldn't there be a little bit...
It'd be a huge scandal. It'd be a huge scandal. And men would probably be barred from the... Male reporters would probably be barred from the changing room, the dressing room.
In many areas, they're not allowed in anyway.
Well, and I mean, in lots of areas, women aren't allowed to. I mean, that barrier hasn't been broken down either.
It's more acceptable for a woman to be in a male locker room.
Really, you've been a woman in a male locker room? I didn't know that.
But
you
no,
played both sides.
I've been in a locker room where
What are you talking about? How do you know?
I've been in a locker room where female reporters have been in there.
Okay, but there's also been lots of female reporters barred from locker rooms.
Sure. But there's not a double standard there.
There's a double standard in everything, unfortunately. I think you just slowly have to get those barriers knocked down. It's just part of the end of this millennium and
And I don't think a guy should be in a female locker room, and I don't think a woman should be in a guy's locker room.
Oh, please.
I mean, they're not doctors.
21st century, what's wrong with you?
Oh, boy.
I mean, if they're there to talk about sports and they're there to interview an athlete, what difference does it make what the guy's wearing, what the guy's not wearing? She shouldn't care and he shouldn't care.
Ron, you've been around.
Oh.
You know as well as I do when guys talk about female athletes, and whether she'll admit it or not, when females talk about guy athletes, there is a lot made about their physical.
Absolutely. And don't ever say that there's not. You know, when you gals get together, you say, ooh, look at that guy's pecs. Ooh.
And you know what? And Ken will tell you.
And when the guys get together, look at it.
When Ken goes down to the Brandon Lady Bobcat practices, he comes back and one of the first things he says, wow, you should see so-and-so.
Yeah.
Why? Because she got 20 points?
No.
Oh, I don't like being put on the spot like that.
Bingo.
Like, so what? Ken's a sexist pig? That's what we just decided? Okay, fine. Like,
but he would probably do. I've done it.
yeah, but I'm saying, as a reporter, you have to be doing there for your job, and I mean, all that other kind of garbage just goes by the wayside.
I don't think it does, and I'm glad it doesn't. Actually, I'll have a lot more fun the way it is right now. It's time now for our Source for Sports trivia. Last week, we gave you an easy one, I thought. Speaking of attractive females, who won the 1999 Female Athlete of the Year at Brandon University? And it was Tarina Carrick was the correct answer. Lynn Carvey was our winner. This week's trivia, we were going to ask you, how old do you think Ann Phillip is? But we wanted a winner. So we've decided on this one. How many times has an Atlanta Braves pitcher won the Cy Young Award in the 1990s? I'll give you a hint here. Greg Maddux won one as a Cub. That doesn't count. You have to add them up. How many did they win while they played for the Braves? 728-1150 is the number to call. If you have a thought as to what you would like to see on This Is Sports, if you would never like to see these two individuals again, we would love to hear from you. If you would like to see them again, we'd like to hear from you too. We'd also like to hear from your doctor. But there's our numbers.
Okay.
You know what? It's been a lot of fun. I can't say any of us knew what we were talking about.
No.
It was a lot of fun.
Of course not.
We had a trialogue, not a dialogue, a trialogue.
Any parting words? Like, I know, you know what? We have just a very short amount of time.
Okay.
And you always want to come on the show and talk about wrestling.
Well, don't do that. Okay, I hate wrestling. It's a pathetic excuse for entertainment. And I really wish parents and kids and everybody else would just ignore it. And I wish it would be on really late at night so nobody could watch it.
And you're giving a thumbs up to that?
Yes.
And you're doing what?
I love wrestling, and I'm going to take her down when she leaves.
What about me?
You know what?
Watch it, Eric.
I used to like it, but within the
I
last
got
month,
friends in the NHL. Just watch it.
Well, see? Maybe we should start a petition.
I wouldn't go that far, because if you smell what The Rock is cooking, I do like that little bit of it. Other than that, I couldn't care for the rest of the 2 hours.
My stepson,
We're back
I don't know
next
what
week
puppies
with 2 real guests. Bye for now.
Real guess? That's not fair. Oh, that's a good shot, Alice. That's a real...
Serving Western Manitoba, you're watching CKX Television.